All right, welcome to another trading analytics video. The market got absolutely slammed in the overnight session on news of a new Chinese AI advancement called DeepSeek. Luckily, in the Discord server, we were savvy enough to hedge our positions with some overnight, or I should say, over the weekend QQQ puts. Thankfully, they were able to do 200% plus, and actually, I think they were closer to 400% at peak. But anyways, if that wasn't enough, we also have big tech earnings this week as well. And obviously there's more. We also have Jerome Powell speaking on Wednesday. So there's going to be absolutely no shortness of volatility at all this week. But with all that being said, I just want to jump right into the S&P 500 or SPY. And basically, we are putting in our first potential higher low here. We did get the sell down right to this trend line, and I'll show you what the higher low should look like if I can get it up here. I have it circled right here for you guys. That's the first low, and then this could be a potential higher low. We are getting the bounce on the trend line as you see. And so, again, if this is going to be a higher low, I do want us to put in obviously a higher high, and that will take us somewhere towards 615. And so, again, in order for us to get to this area up here, with a brand new all-time high at 615, I do believe we are going to need some great big tech earnings. And what is that going to do for us, right? That's going to show the overall market that the valuations are justified. Everything is all good in the big tech world. I think that's the biggest thing that everyone is worried about at this point, is if valuations are justified at this moment. And so I think earnings is what's going to go ahead and kind of kick that off for us and show us, right? And if that is the case, I do believe that the market can get towards 615 or 616, somewhere in that area there. Now, we obviously need to talk about the downside and what could potentially happen if big tech earnings are not doing well, right? So like I mentioned here, we did sell down to this trend line here. I do think that we can start filling some of this gap, right up here towards the 605, 606 area. From here, we could easily sell back down to this trend line and obviously come back down and finish the job and fill the gap from 585. And so this is still remaining open here on the S&P 500. So if big tech earnings are not going to do well, I would imagine that it'll look something like this. But both scenarios have us going up, at least in the short term here. That's by my estimation, unless we get another somewhat of a black swan event overnight here. So that's kind of what I'm expecting the S&P 500. I would keep your trade plans very simple. Basically, off of a higher low, you should be expecting a higher high. So I do think this is the higher probability of the two. So I would be looking for the higher high, and this is what I'll be, planning for and positioning for. Obviously, once you kind of take your position, you're going to want to get in runners, especially going through some of these earnings. We're not 100% sure what the earnings are going to say. I believe that they're going to do well. All of the big tech guys are going to do well, with maybe an exception of Tesla. I'm not 100% sure how that one's going to go. But again, I do think Meta is going to knock it out of the park, amongst other things. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Nobody really knows. So, but again, I am looking for this higher low to turn into that higher high. And so we just have to wait and see how the rest of the week plays out for us. All right, on the NASDAQ 100 or QQQ, very similar to the S&P 500, we did sell down to this trend line here, and bulls stepped in right when they should have, right on this trend line as mentioned. Now, again, like the S&P 500, this could be the very first higher low scenario after this big run up here, and I did circle it out for you guys just like I did previously, and I'll show you guys what it looks like here. So that'll be your first low here circled, and this is going to be your second low here. And so again, this could be a higher low in this sequence here, which again, like the S&P 500, I am expecting a higher high, right? Which could take us towards 538. And again, if we're able to close candles over 538, we could even head towards 549 here, right? Now, again, this is going to take the big tech earnings, just like I mentioned in the S&P 500, knocking it out of the park. They are going to need to do well in order for this scenario to play out, like the S&P 500 once again. And I'm making lots of references to the S&P 500 because I do believe that they are very similar as far as what will happen if big tech earnings do not go well, right? If they don't go well, referring to the earnings, I do believe we'll probably fill some of the gap, and just like the S&P 500, sell back down to this trend line here, and even a little bit lower than that. We can go all the way down to 492 and fill out this gap that we did leave partially opened, right? Now, again, there is no reason for us to expect that scenario, right? Again, in a bull market, you are expecting higher lows and higher highs, right? And so again, the higher high scenario like that is what I'm generally looking for. But again, with Jerome Powell coming up, and we have big tech earnings and all of that. There is room for lots of volatility. Now, there is one concern that I did have, and I want to clean up this chart here so I can show you guys what I meant. And so it is going to be on the weekly chart, and I'll switch over to that right now. And so on the weekly chart, right, you can see that there is some room here for a potential double top, right? And you can see it even better on the line chart. Now, again, this is not a double top yet. In order for it to be a double top, we do need to go down under the breakdown level, and I'll draw that out for you guys there. And so that's going to be right around 507, somewhere around there, 506, 507. So if you start seeing we're breaking down and closing below that 506, 507 area, I would probably throw that 492 gap fill on the radar like right away, right? And so again, we probably could even go lower than that. Probably down towards 479 if this scenario were to play out. Now, again, this is a bull market, right? So I don't want to jump the gun here in saying that this is going to be a double top scenario that looks like that. I don't necessarily believe that's going to be the case. We could easily, like I said, just round up here and put in a new high and continue on just like that, right? So again, we're not jumping the gun on anything. We did not go under the breakdown level, so I'm not going to tell you guys this is a double top. I'm just saying that this is something that we need to pay attention for and put it inside of your trade plan. So if this, then that, right? So if this happens, then I will do that. So if we break under 506, then you need to react, right? Start cutting some longs, lower your exposure there, just and expect that the fact that we can go down towards 492 from that point, and which at that stage you can start looking for longs again. But at this particular moment, right, I'm not looking for that. I think the daily chart says we could be putting in a higher low, so that's kind of what I'm going off of now. And if we get down towards this 506 level, then I will obviously change my tone and adjust my plan. All right, jumping over to Amazon stock. This was a #1 trade idea that was given in the previous video that I mentioned. And I said that this was the top setup that I had going into the following week. And obviously we played this in the Discord server. We did very well with Amazon. I think we were up well over 150% at the peak here. And we're still kind of swinging this one now as we speak, but and it basically has done very well. So I already mentioned we did have this beautiful sideways consolidation, and as you can see, we got our nice little bounce here. And so again, this is, we made a lot of money off of this move already, and you can see the volatility that we had coming back down here, testing some support here, and then blasting back up towards this 235 area. And so you can see, guys, if I just take this out here, you can see we've been kind of stuck with inside of this area for quite a while, topping out at this 235 area. I do believe once Amazon breaks 235, I do believe that we are going to test 241 and even higher than that towards 250. And so again, Amazon still looks very strong here as long as the overall market is playing nice. I do believe Amazon will hit some of those upper targets. This is one of my still one of my favorite setups at this moment. However, it's not as low risk as it was when I first mentioned it in the previous video. So hopefully you guys made some money on that one. That was a little freebie that I threw out there. Although the Discord server did get in it much earlier than YouTube did, it still was plenty of money to be made if you watch that video and executed right after that. All right, last but certainly not least, I'm going to go ahead and cover Tesla stock. And I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible, right? As you guys can see, we did catch support right on this lower trend line here, and this is right around 390. And so again, from 390, I do expect this to round back up, possibly towards this 420 area. And this is all assuming that this, lower support holds here. Now, if we can get a candle close above 420, I do expect us to get possibly towards this 455 area. Now, again, I'm just taking Tesla level by level. I'm not going to complicate it at all. If we hold the support, I'm going to swing back to the upside. If we lose the support, I'm going to swing to the downside, right? Now, to the downside, again, if we lose 390, I can see us, and again, when I say lose 390, that's closing a daily candle below this 390 level. Wicking below it, I'm not worried about. Closing below it is what I'm talking about, right? So if we close below 390, I would expect us to, round back down here at 340. Now, I do want to mention Tesla does have its earnings later this week. And so I do believe that one of these two extremes, whether it's this lower trend line here or this upper trend line here, I do believe earnings is going to bring us either one of these scenarios here. And so, again, nobody really knows exactly which one of the scenarios are going to play out. So I do think that if you're going to play Tesla this week, it should be based on scalps only. I would not want to be in Tesla through the earnings, at least not at this moment, because again, nobody really knows what to expect out of the earnings. So again, I'm sure Elon has something in his bag of tricks there to pull out on everybody. So we'll obviously have to wait and see how that one goes. I think it's going to be pretty exciting, and I'll definitely be on the sidelines watching that one. Now, obviously, in these videos, we normally have trade ideas ready to go for you guys, normally one or two of them that we'll post at the end of the video. However, we've been doing so much of that in the previous videos. We feel like we've given away a lot for free. And so in this video, we are going to leave a lot of those new trade ideas exclusive to the Discord server. Link to the Discord server will actually be in the pinned comment, or the top pinned comment that you guys will see in the comment section. You can join us over there. Right now, we are giving a 2-day free trial to anybody who joins the Discord server. Now, once again, those free trials will end in February, so we'll no longer be giving out those 2-day free trials for anybody who joins after February. But it is for 2 days, so again, you can definitely take advantage of that if you're interested. With that being said, guys, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we have Jerome Powell coming up. We have lots of big tech earnings coming up, so you're definitely going to want to make sure you have your trade plans put together. I probably would trade a little bit lighter this week, especially in your position sizing, just to protect yourself from any potential volatility that the market has in store for you guys. So that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Good luck out there, and we'll see you in the next video. See ya. Bye.
Perfect.